I told my fiancée that my best friend's trauma and well-being matters more than her comfort or need to know every detail, and now she's staying with her mom after saying she can't handle how I prioritize him. My best friend lost a parent a year and a half ago, which led him to a mental health crisis. Our friend group has been picking up the pieces ever since. He's doing much better now that he's in therapy, but he's definitely gone through it. What has complicated matters worse is my fiancée. It goes without saying that I love her, but she is the definition of a busybody sometimes. My best friend is a very private person. She knows something happened with him, but she doesn't know the details of what that something is. She probably never will, but because she's around me and my friends often as my fiancée and I live in the same house, she hears bits and pieces of the story and presses for more information. I try to circumvent this as best as I can. For example, I step out of the room for specific phone conversations. But still, it's hard to limit the discussion about it sometimes. If it's necessary, we bring it up and she's around in person. We'll refer to the Nolan situation without giving specifics. Nolan will also stop by my place at night when he can't sleep. This doesn't happen all that often, maybe twice a month. He'll text me or call me saying he's outside. I'll go sit with him and maybe smoke a little bit, then he'll head home. I'll wait up until I know he got home safely, then I go back to sleep. My fiancée hates this. She claims the phone calls always wake her up. They don't. She just sometimes happens to wake up for the bathroom while I'm outside, and that me not being in bed is alarming. This brings us to last night. Nolan stopped by, and when I came back inside, my fiancée said she was putting a stop to it. She said all the sneaking around is making her paranoid. She doesn't feel like she can properly trust me or be a part of my friend group without knowing the details, and that Nolan needs to stop relying on me so much. I told her that no matter whether we're married, dating, whatever, she will never have any ownership over my friend's trauma, and that she was never going to be able to order me around in regards to it. I also said her comfort was less important than someone's actual physical well-being. She was obviously hurt by this and went to stay with her mom after work today. Did I go too far by saying that to her? Edit, she knows Nolan lost a parent, she doesn't know the aftermath beyond the statement he had a mental health crisis. And yes, he has specifically asked me not to tell her. Edit number 2, the next day, this is not something we talk about constantly in front of her. I'm giving examples that have happened over the past year and a half. Also, Nolan does see a therapist. He comes to my place to hang out. Update, 4 days later, since my first post, I've had 3 conversations with my fiancée relating to this topic. The first didn't go well. I still had a lot of walls up that didn't allow me to engage properly. I didn't get angry, I just didn't say much at all. My fiancée told me what a lot had already assumed. She didn't feel like a priority, she was hurt by my comment and my actions. She gave me specifics on what needed to change if we were to continue. I told her I needed time, and she went back to the parents' house for the night. I took this night alone to truly think over the things she had requested, no more late night visits and other harsh boundaries being put into place, and tried to imagine a life where that happened. The second conversation was much more impactful. I took feedback I was given here, which mainly centered around honesty and apologies. I told her that I was sorry for waking her up and for not treating her how a fiancé should. I also told her I was sorry I hadn't been prioritizing her. But that I couldn't. At least not in the top, number 1 spot. The gist of my side was this: my life partner, in a lot of ways, has already been chosen. It might change in the future, but as of right now, my friendship is the most important relationship in my life. He isn't just like family to me, he is family to me. That goes beyond just the two of us. His little brother is my little brother. My mom and dad have all but officially adopted them into our family and vice versa. Our lives are intrinsically enmeshed and have been since we were 15. I had been doing a disservice to her by pretending that I could put anyone else over this familial unit that has already been built. This conversation was difficult for us both. We cried together, we attempted to compromise, but the truth of it all boiled down to if he needs me, or even just wants me, I'm going to do everything reasonably in my power to be there for him. We again took the night for ourselves to process. And that leads us to the final conversation, which was about our future. She told me she had known the end was coming and had begun to accept it long before our conversation. I agreed. We're also planning a move Jess out party between just us two where we try to have fun with it and reconnect as friends. She told me, in customary breakup fashion, that she's going to cut bangs in my bathroom at some point during this planned night. So, was I the jerk for saying that my friend's trauma was more important than her comfort? Yeah. I totally was. Not only because it was harsh, but because I didn't say it sooner so she could make an informed decision about whether it was a life she wanted or not. Now she gets that. I feel gracious and humbled by her forgiveness and understanding, and thankful to commenters who provided insight. Edit to add, no, I'm not planning any more romantic relationships for a while. 2. My number 1 priority is Nolan, not my entire family. He and I are the familial unit I referred to. Relevant comments. Responding to those who tell him he needs to set boundaries with Nolan for both of their healths. OP, I'm genuinely fascinated by this point of view. We do have other friends and boundaries with one another. 2 people choosing to share their lives together and not actively pursuing romantic relationships doesn't automatically lean towards something unhealthy. At least from my perspective. I think it's all just about how people want to live their lives and different priorities. But I seem to be in the minority here. There is only so much about my friendship with him I can include here, and this update post was largely centered around what happened with my ex-fiancée. Why would I list boundaries I have with my friend that are unrelated to this single conflict I posted about? In my eyes, he didn't sabotage anything. I chose my priorities, they were out of line with what was required for a romantic relationship, and I'm now out of that relationship. The value of said relationship is relative. I hope Jess and I remain close friends, but I feel relieved to be rid of extra pressures when I wanted to live my life one way and she wanted something else. I do have a therapist. He does not trauma dump on me. We talk like normal people do. He sees a therapist regularly. I've known him since we were 15, we're 25 now. Commenter number 2, dude, why get engaged in the first place? OP, the engagement was a spur of the moment event when I had been drinking. I wouldn't say it's something I regret because I think both she and I knew it wasn't a marriage is right around the corner, let's start planning now situation. I mostly just regret not having an honest conversation with her up front about the different places people took up in my life. That was a huge mistake on my end. Commenter number 3, are you attracted to Nolan? OP, reflecting on how we first met, it was basically just me trying to manifest an excuse to talk to the cool tall boy I saw, and then I actually got that excuse and invited him over to my house during our first conversation. So, I certainly think he is nice to look at and particularly nice to spend time with. I don't typically think that hard about my interactions with most men other than him. OP then makes a comment on moving forward. I'm just letting things happen as they happen at this point. If he and I do move back in together, though, I think I'm going to just start telling people we're together no matter what, if he's comfortable with it, of course. There's too many people who don't get that I do not want a romantic relationship in any shape or form going forward, outside of this, and if this whole thing has taught me anything, it's that I don't want to be stuck answering questions about it my entire life. Lol. OP when asked about his ex-fiancée, she's the one that suggested we remain friends. I came into things wanting to be completely honest. Other than that, the ball was in her court. If she wanted to forgive me, never see me again, whatever. That was purely up to her. Will it continue on past her moving out? I don't know. But I do know I'm very glad we're not ending on a totally sour note. One more thought from OP, as I said in other comments, I think I worded the original post wrong because people are assuming I put him on the same level as my parents or siblings and that isn't the case. I honestly think people would have had a more positive reaction if I had said I've been with Nolan this whole time, jokes on everyone. Then I made a mistake proposing to my fiancée, I'm now single and can admit I feel emotionally fulfilled by this person. He is my life partner and I choose to share my life with him while also having other friends and family as well who don't fall into that category of intensity. Because half of the responses are that's so weird. You have to be screwing with the person you put number one in your life. He and I have spoken and are in agreement. He's asked me to come to one of his therapy sessions so we can further discuss and I finally agreed and we set a date to make that happen. Most of the comments on the post I made on my own page, which has since been deleted, were we don't care about Nolan, we just want to make sure your fiancée is good. But now that I've affirmed that she's okay, we're going our separate ways, it's the opposite. I don't know. The update was focused on her for a reason. Edit. OP had a few deleted comments that I did not include here because I could not tell if he was trying to troll the people who were asking questions or not. But, because some questions have come up a few times in this Baru post, here is one of his deleted comments. Someone asks a very stereotypical intimate life question about him and Nolan. OP says, I've got metaphorical leash holder in my bio for a reason.